All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 33. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today with the patch 6.2 PTR and Pepe Costumes and just all sorts of fun stuff. But before we get into all of that, today's podcast was brought to you today by Marvel Heroes. From David Brevik, the creator of the Diablo series, Marvel Heroes lets you play as an Avenger for free and live out your dreams of being an action hero. There are more than 40 heroes to choose from, and it's free to register, free to download, and free to play. So check it out today at marvelheroes.com/about. Alrighty, and thank you for that. Before we get into today's video, I first would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone! We have a ton of PTR stuff to talk about. I am very excited for Pepe Costumes as well. But first we have some stuff going on live servers, which is very exciting and cute as well.
Yeah, Perg and I are pretty into holidays, I think that's safe to say. And this week is Children's Week. Children's Week is a good one. There's lots of pets.
Yeah, there are 10 pets. They are adorable.
Look, I got pictures of them for you. Look at all those pets. It's a gaggle of pets. It's funny because when I first started playing WoW back in Burning Crusade, I was doing the Scarlet Monastery on I don't know, what are you, level 38, 39?
Yeah, the 30, 40
and
grind.
Someone had Mr. Wiggles, and I was like, what is that? And where do I get it? I need it so bad. And this was when pets were kept in your bag, you know? So I have these weird feelings about Children's Week because it was the first pet I ever saw. The entire in my entire WoW life, Mr. Wiggles. It's the OG.
Yeah, Mr. Wiggles is adorable, and yeah, I remember back in the day you really had to love a pet to keep it in your bags because bag space was at a premium.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, I think, for the Dark Whelpling pet. It was super expensive, and I bought it, and I just kept it in my bags. And I was really picky about other pets because I'm like, I can't put
Isn't it as good as the Dark Whelpling, though? Of course, the Children's Week achievements will give you a title, either matron or patron, depending on your gender, and it'll also give you progress towards the meta achievement, what a long, strange trip it's been, which will eventually reward you the Violet Proto-Drake if you do not have it. This year, there is a new toy. It's the green balloon toy, and you actually buy it from a vendor. It's just the vendor that sells toys in either Stormwind and Ogremar, and it's really, really cheap, so you may as well snatch that because it's easy to get. And if you've already done all of the achievements for Children's Week, it's still worth going back and doing them again because this year they added a new reward. It's called the Pet Care Package. Yeah, the Pet Care Package. And it gives you a bunch of different rewards that are new from the pets and stuff. You can either get a pet battle stone or pug disguises, experience biscuits. I think you can get the biscuits that grow your pet too. So
yeah, the usual magical pet biscuit and the one that shrinks it.
Yeah.
And it's really good because you can put the battle stone on the auction house.
Yeah, they're expensive.
So you can get some gold that way.
Yeah.
And the pug disguises are nice because you don't have to use pet charms to get those. You can save them up for other stuff. And you can do them on every character, so you can really stock up on stuff. It's really nice.
I just really like that they're adding more things to holidays that make it worthwhile doing them again. I have the achievement, what a long strange trip it's been, so there were quite a few holidays that I didn't do at all because what was the point? I already had the pet, I already had the mount, I already had the achievement, and so I like that they're adding stuff like this that gives people incentives to continue doing the holiday events even if they've already gotten all the base rewards.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really nice in Warlords. I think every holiday has gotten something, and I was worried at first because I didn't see anything for Children's Week, no new pets, but I think this is really nice because those pet stones are a few thousand gold, and there's lots of new things you want to spend your pet charms on in 6.2.
Yeah.
So
new pets too.
Yeah. So you want to get your toys and your pets with the charms instead of perky pug disguises.
And for those of you guys who haven't actually done them yet, here's a slide of all of the pets, and there's pets that you get from the quest in Ogremar and Stormwind. Those pets are Whiskers the rat and Speedy, who is the turtle, and Scooter the snail, and then Mr. Wiggles. Then there are pets that you earn from the Shatrith quest, which is Egbert, which is that weird little guy who's in an egg, and he's kind of I don't know, an ostrich maybe? A tall strider? I'm not sure. He's a cute weirdo. And then there's also Peanut, who is the little Elec baby. Willy, who's the little warlock, one-eyed, one-tooth, flying purple people eater.
Yeah.
And then Legs, who is, of course, the... What are those called?
It's the Zangarmarsh
Yeah,
ones?
the Zangarmarsh guys, Coilfang,
The Striders?
Striders,
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
Yeah.
And then from Dalaran, you can earn the Oracle Hatchling or the Wolvar pups. So there's a whole bunch of pets that you can earn. And I remember before I had them all, that was always a really exciting thing for me because you could, you wanted to get all of them. And when they made pets account wide, then you could do them all in 1 year. If you have multiple characters.
So I mean, it's just repeating that there are 10 total, and you can get 3 per character in 1 year. So if you do them on, 4 characters, and you do it correctly, you can get all of them in 1 year.
There is an achievement though for getting all of them on 1 character.
Yep,
so it takes 4 years to get the achievement. So
I think it's just 3 of the pets, not 4, but still 3 years is it's a long
3
time.
3 years is a real commitment to get some pets though.
Exactly.
And there's some other fun stuff coming too, aside from what's on live servers. Of course, 6.2 is bringing us a ton of new stuff. It's really exciting. As of right now, the only heirloom rings in the game are from the fishing tournament, and when 6.2 hits, we'll be getting heirloom rings from the shipyard, which is pretty exciting because we don't have that right now. And of course, what everybody is so excited for are the Pepe costumes. Look at that cute little pirate guy. So friggin' cute. So this is Pepe in his pirate costume. And then this is Pepe in his ninja costume. I can't deal with the little sword on his back. So cute. And then the next one up is Pepe in his Viking costume. Oh
I love that one, the little shield, and it has the arrow that has the feather on it.
Yeah.
Like, who's shooting at Pepe? That's so sad.
So cute. And then the last one is he's like a little knight. Oh my gosh, so cute with his little shield. I can't deal with this.
Yeah, we don't know where these costumes are from yet, but they're adorable.
Yeah, there is an achievement too that's called like that involves
I
finding.
found Pepe.
Yeah. So you have to find him in his costumes. So is he just like in them in the wild? Is it like a wild knight Pepe has appeared? He is super effective.
Yeah. We will definitely be covering. I think like at the start of every Wowhead Weekly, we're going to be this is a focus on cute things and what do we know about Pepe.
Sorry. I feel like this could probably be blamed on me. And then we're also getting some transmog fell goggles, and these are actually classified as cosmetics. So they should be goggles that you can use without being an engineer and without using, what are the ones right now? Cloth.
Yeah, like they're not limited to any armor type, so that means that you can use it no matter if you're cloth, leather, mail, or plate. It's not like, oh, I like this model, but they're cloth goggles, so I can only use it on a few classes.
Yeah, it's definitely cool that they're adding those. And then we have the Left Shark and the River Beast, which we talked a little bit about Left Shark. He's a battle pet. And then this Muckback River Beast. And those are going to be rewards from ship missions, which was really surprising to me because we don't have anything that good coming from garrison missions right now, do we?
Yeah, I mean, we had that toy that's easy to get, that lockbox that gives you Archmage Vargoth and the Hearthstone autograph.
Oh, and you know what? We did get the selfie camera, too.
Yeah, they're nothing. We got a few toys, but, I mean, there's something about a mount that just feels, really,
It feels like a real reward. I wonder if it's going to be like a crazy, like it takes 2 days to complete or something.
Yeah, and your ship can get destroyed in the storm.
I destroyed 7 ships getting this muck beast. And then we also there's also going to be a black market auction house ship mission, which we don't know much about or how it's going to work, but me and Perk were both pretty interested in the fact that they even mentioned a black market auction house in a garrison ship mission.
It just seemed really intriguing because, lots of gold goes into those auctions, and I'm just curious like what sort of reward you'll get, because the black market auction house has all these really interesting rewards, and it seems, we're going to get a mysterious container as reward to encourage people to use
That would be cool. Or, like, a lot of gold. Maybe they'll have you, like, sell something in the black market auction house on behalf, or I don't know. I want gold.
But yeah, I want to learn more about that. That was very interesting to see, and I like the creativity that's going into this.
I wonder almost if they're trying to, like, give more awareness to the black market auction house. I feel like in MoP, it was right near, like, where you did your legendary quests, so you were, like, there kind of...
Yeah, and Terrace of Endless Spring.
You know what I mean? But right now, it's sort of like it's in Nagrand, correct? And it's like up on that, like, it's hard to get to, and there's no mailbox nearby. What is that?
They added it really recently, but I agree. It did turn a lot of people off if you're playing at launch and there's not a mailbox.
Well, I actually was really upset because I lost an auction because the price went up and I didn't have enough money on that character to bid on it. So I went to my bank tune, mailed money over. Then there was no mailbox anywhere in the near vicinity, so I flew to go to this mailbox, came back, and by the time I got back, it had ended, and I was furious. It was the turtle, the sea turtle, the one that from
the writing turtle.
Yeah, the trading card game one though, not the one that you get in game. And it was only 30,000 gold.
Right.
I know.
And you that it's not BOE, so you can't get it on the regular auction.
Yeah,
house.
It was such upsetting.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I agree with you, mean. I think they added it in 6.1, but that's still...
I didn't even know.
Yeah, also, because there's no flying there, it does take a little more time to get to as opposed to Mop.
Yeah, because you have to take a flight path. I think
what
I did was I harked back to my garrison thinking that it would be faster and then flew back, but in that time the auction ended and now I have no sea turtle. Whatever.
Yeah, very curious what's going on with that mission.
There's also a bunch of other fun stuff in 6.2, like bonus events, and I know we've talked a little bit about the time walking events, and I know there was a big post on it this week, so I'm going to flip it over to you so you can talk a little bit about that.
Cool. So, apologies as I pull this up 1 second. Basically, we found a few things. If you look at the in-game calendar, they now have the bonus events listed. So for Time Walking Dungeons, you'll see that for a few days, there is this bonus event, and the Adventure Journal says that if you complete 3 Time Walking Dungeons, you get a Seal of Inevitable Fate, which is the bonus roll currency for Hellfire Citadel. So that's pretty nice reward.
Yeah.
And we've also had a post by Ian Hazacostas on what you're meant to expect from Time Walker Dungeons as far as difficulty is concerned, because a lot of people have all these memories that, from Burning Crusade, that they were really nail-biting and stressful.
Terrace. Oh.
So basically, he said that time walking is intended to allow players to experience some of our iconic older dungeons in a relevant context, offering a change of pace to max level and leveling players alike during the event weekends.
So it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, so it's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be terrifying. He has said that there are some scaling issues, or maybe it's too easy, but the idea is that it's not meant to... sort of evoke
it's not a challenge mode.
Memories.
I mean, they're adding mythic dungeons. This isn't... Not everything in World of Warcraft needs to be about proving your skill. Oh my god, who's the best?
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is not one of those situations. It's kind of like when I had talked about Time Walking Dungeons. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go do all my favorite dungeons. It's going to be the best. I really feel like that's what this was intended for.
Yeah, and it's meant to be for people that are also... above the level for those dungeons, but that aren't max levels. So, if you're level 90, you could queue up with someone at level 100 and you could run this dungeon together.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't even think about it that way. That's fun.
Yeah,
I like it.
So...
There's other bonus events, though, too. There aren't just the time walking events. There's going to be a pet battle event, which will reward all of your pets 3 times experience while you're battling them during the event. There's a Draenor dungeon event, which will reward you bonus reputation with a Draenor faction when you defeat level 100 heroic or mythic dungeon enemies. And it's worded enemies, so that's not just bosses, right? That would be trash, too.
Right.
Yeah,
that seems pretty nice.
That's pretty awesome. Then there's an Apexis crystal event where your crystals will mysteriously multiply and extra crystals will be looted when you're killing things that drop them. There's also going to be a BG event where BGs will reward triple honor, and there is an arena skirmish event where arena skirmishes will award triple honor, which I think is really good because you hear a lot of people saying things like, oh, they only do updates to PvE content and they forget about PvPers, but I think the fact that they included both Battlegrounds, which I think Battlegrounds covers a more casual PvPer, but arenas are, those are your serious guys right there. I'm not part of that.
Yeah, it seems they're trying to get everyone covered, and I'm not sure, but right now on the PTR, they've got all these events staggered out every few days, not just limited to the weekends.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
So,
That's
I don't know
neat.
if they're just doing that for testing purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how, the time walking is going on, but also the arenas. So, if you're in the mood to try a bonus event, it's not like, oh, this is the PvP holiday, I'll ignore it. It's like, oh, I'm already doing this, I should do this other cool thing.
Honestly, though, I might be willing to do, like, some non-rated BGs on a bonus weekend, because maybe there's, like, armor that you want to get for, like, transmog, or, like, even if you want to get, like, your base PvP set, that would be the time to, like, grind out some crappy... You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because it's obviously terrible when you go in and you don't have PvP gear, and then you're not getting much honor because you're not winning.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, if you wanted to really, like, catch up a little bit, that's a good catch-up mechanism as well for people who want to get into PvP who can't.
Yeah, I remember, like, back in the day when Alterac Valley was crazy honor and it was good for PvE gearing. It was, like, that was the weekend that everyone was like, I need gear.
Yeah, that was when tanks would get, like, uncrushable.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just do AV nonstop, and then
Yeah.
my raid the Monday after would be totally out of it because they just were zombies in AV the entire weekend. So we
Yeah,
could try to
Druid
recoup
tanks
some
in
of that.
particular. I remember Druid tanks were really good with PvP gear, like in Burning Crusade. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I was in a bad guild. That both
No, I
things
mean,
are
I know as a
possible.
rogue, the offhand, the Merciless Gladiator's weapon was pretty good
Yeah.
for, and I think like yeah, I mean, like some of the pieces were pretty good, and it was a way to get people motivated. Like this is the one weekend where it's amazing to get on it. Let's
Yeah.
all do this right
Yeah,
now.
I think it would be fun too, and I think that's part of the reason. Like, I actually used to be really into PvP. I always joke around about how I don't PvP at all anymore, but before they, like, killed twinking, before BG is rewarded experience, I used to twink out my characters at like 29, 39, 49. Like, I would pretty much level them until like I got bored, and then when I would get bored, I would gear them out and then
Right.
just do BGs for a couple months, and it was so fun. Like, it was really, really fun. So like there was a time when I enjoyed PvPing, and I think right now the reason that I have a hard time is because I don't want to go through the process of gearing up. Like, as soon I'm usually like, oh, I'm like raid geared, but that does me little to no good because I'll get two shot.
Right, with all the warlord changes they made.
So, but I'm really looking forward to the, believe it or not, of all the things. Like, I'm looking forward to time walking, and I'm actually really excited about the bonus BG honor, because maybe I can catch up and get some PvP gear and not be such a scrub. But I'll probably still be
Yeah.
a scrub.
I always like PvP achievements, so I'm like, oh, maybe this will motivate me to finish grinding out,
Oh yeah, that's a good
some
point.
some wins I need and put on my Ordos buff so I can get the coins for that mount.
Yeah.
Because I was doing Silver Shard back in MOP, and it was really miserable because everyone was doing it for the legendary quest line.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So maybe it will be better.
I was one
now
of those people
that's
that
all
was
out of-
screwing up your BGs. Well, actually, I would have been on the other team, so oops.
it would have been helpful.
Well, we learned some other things about 6.2 as well this week. We got to see a preview of some weapons, and I made you guys a little slideshow to see some of them. So
They're so
check
cool.
it out. And me and Perk talked about these beforehand, and I'm sorry that I included a lot of the girly colors, but I loved this pink dagger. I couldn't not. I tried to include a bunch of the weapons that actually had some sort of animation that was already working. I think this one is going to be a little more flamey, like almost like a lighter or a torch.
Right.
Perk didn't like this one. The throbby heart, which at one point the animation was throbbing a little bit more, but of course it like stopped when I started recording. That's typical of my luck. This is a crossbow. Mean looking crossbow. And then that might look slightly familiar if you guys played in Burning Crusade.
But yeah, many of these weapons are we got all the Hellfire Citadel models in this past week, and we got some PvP ones in a few weeks before. And as Panzer was saying, many of these weapons resemble the Burning Crusade ones, which I think is a really cool detail. It's
Yeah,
good for
I've
nostalgia.
got a thing coming up here in just right meow, and you can actually see them side by side. With their Burning Crusade kind of comparison, which I thought was really cool. I like that we're kind of getting this expansion where we're seeing a lot of Burning Crusade nostalgia, and then they're doing little tips, little things like that that are like where you see the weapons side by side, and they're definitely inspired by, or I would say they're newer versions, but I guess in all technicality they're older versions, right?
Yeah, all the timeline versions. I mean, some of them are higher resolution, but I like how most of them kept the simplicity.
Yeah.
Like many of the Conquest ones look like Merciless Gladiator Season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And they have some really simple, iconic looks, and, the swords and the daggers.
I love the shields.
Yeah, the Eldori Legacy Defender versus the Fallen Defender of Argus.
I think that was a big favorite. I feel like a lot of shield wearers have that in their inventory for potential transmog.
Yeah.
So I like that, and there's all different colors of that too. Like I previewed the blue one, but there's other colors of that as well.
Yeah, there's a green and a red one. I think
there was a lot of like mean looking red armor and gear and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the green has the fell comparison, but the red is very like vivid in your face, and yeah, I really like the colors. I like how everything is themed. Like we've got some Arakoa weapons in there because there's some Arakoa crosses.
I think it's funny how many weapons look Missa Pandaria-ish. They almost look like Shaw touched, or like the gold kind of almost reminds me of like the Mogu weapons and stuff. I really like it. I feel like this expansion has been a real like stylistically interesting one because we've seen a lot of, I don't know, just blending of styles.
Yeah, no, I mean I like how there's thought, and they're not just trying to make something that's cooler and flashier than the last tier. They're putting some thought into it. Like the mythic sets aren't just flashier, it's also, well, you're probably dealing with the evil, directly, so you're more corrupted. I like
you're a little more felly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm going to flip it over to you so you can talk a little bit more about the new armor and stuff that we'll be getting in 6.2.
Sure. So you should also check out the recent data mining post because we got the Death Knight, Hunter, and Warlock mythic sets, all of the LFR gear, and Hellfire Citadel capes. So, definitely check those out, 3D models of all that. But we don't just have models. A really cool thing we found is that the Archimon loot in the Dungeon Journal is now 15 items level higher than the rest of the zone. So that means that it's eye level 710 normal, 725 heroic, and 740 mythic. And that includes some pretty iconic weapons like we showed before, as well as all of the trinkets that have the spec-specific procs.
Yeah, those are cool.
So yeah, that's pretty neat. 15 item levels is it's a significant boost. We've seen similar things like Heroic Lich King. The item level on that was higher than the other heroic bosses.
It's gonna be hard.
So, yeah. So I guess they want your loot to feel pretty meaningful. And also a neat data update is that the tier 18 sets have real, not placeholder names now. And they have a lot of changed set bonuses, which you can browse and learn all about on ptr.wowhead.com/item sets. So if you go there, you can see the 5 items that are in the sets. You can see all the 2- and 4-piece bonuses linked right there. You can see all the stats. You can see the real names. You can click on View in 3D and see all 5 items together to see how they look. And yeah, if you're doing any theory crafting or just, want to start thinking what items you want to get in the future, definitely check out that part of the database.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess one more unrelated thing, a neat gear thing, is that the gear we've talked about from Shipyard Missions, the BOA Baleful tokens, which are item level 640, we found this item called the Empowered Apexis Fragment, and it says that you can boost that gear to item level 685.
That must have been one of the catch-up mechanisms they were talking about. Is that purchased with Apexis crystals, or do we not know yet?
We don't know yet. It just sort of appeared unrelated to a source, but I want to keep an eye out on that because, Apexis dailies are still a thing.
They obviously have the bonus.
So if they want people to be collecting them, there has to be stuff they want to
for sure. Which is interesting because when we were talking last time, we were talking about the new item Fellblood, which has actually been renamed Fellblight. That's going to be what you use for your new crafted items in 6.2. So it's interesting that there's also going to be this other upgrade item that's not crafted.
Yeah, I guess they figure that you can get up to that sort of stage 4 crafting plateau of 680 pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get the new stuff, you have to switch over to using the Fellblight recipes for, the best item level stuff.
I'm also curious about what's going to happen with the Fellblight because we had originally thought it was from the barn, but it's not from the barn. It's going to be like a profession boost with mining, scanning, herbalism, and fishing in Tanan. So it almost makes me wonder, are people going to keep their barns around? Because if Fellblood doesn't come from the barn, that's the whole point of a barn is to get Savage Bloods.
Yeah, well, I guess you can grab your one-time pet, but it does seem that they are trying to move away from your garrison as being all self-sufficient and you can just do everything from your garrison to, hey, you should actually go out in the world and do other things.
I mean, that's a good thing. I feel like that's been a big complaint, is that people are we do too much in our garrisons. Although, I mean, for the record, if you have a barn, you have to go out and trap things. You have to leave occasionally. Us lazy people don't have barns.
I mean, there was a lot of complaints about how there were groups with Savage Blood and the trapping mechanisms were odd and they kept changing them, so maybe it just felt too
clunky.
I don't know, stressful, or that everyone fighting over the same mobs in Tanan to trap them for the barn would not be very good.
Yeah. Now, we haven't heard anything yet about whether Savage Blood will have any new use, but we do know that they now cost 25 primals on the PTR rather than 50. Although I guess that would make sense if the items that you make with Savage Bloods aren't as good anymore and if they're not going to be used for new stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's, just a catch-up mechanism, too. I mean, if you want to make it upgrade it a few times, you can easily do that now if Savage...
make it for your alts or whatever. And then there's going to be a new fish in Tanan, the Fellmouth Frenzy.
Oh yeah, I was meant to fish that up today and I forgot. I guess I'll do that on Monday.
And the flavor text on that reads, if you spend at least 10 seconds eating, you will become well fed and gain a chance to periodically unleash a volley of fell bolts while attacking. Is that like an actual attack or is that just a visual?
I think that's the actual attack. You know, like every other food gives you something cool. And we've data mined a spell that's tied to that has, some damage data.
So cool.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Especially, like, I happen to have one of these on my desk just really randomly, but especially if you had, like, the footsteps of Illidan on while you did this, so you'd be all like, fell flame, like...
Oh, I want to try this out now. I'm just fishing on the PTR.
It'd just be, like, hilarious. That'd be so great. And then you also had a little note here that says many level up crafting recipes that do not require materials created through a daily cooldown have been adjusted to give you more skill points. So
yeah, I was looking around and I didn't see that yet. Like I was looking at some recipes that engineering junk and sorry, not junk, but not the goggles things like like the thing that sells you and the rockets, and I did not see a skill point difference, but I assume stuff like that is what they mean.
Yeah. And then we learned a lot more about Tanan this week as well. And I'm actually going to flip this over to Perk because she's actually been doing stuff on the PTR. I've done a little bit, but you've done a lot more. So I feel like this should come straight from you because you're more first-hand experience with this. So take it away, Perk.
Yay. All right, so we got this blog from Blizzard that gave an overview of some Tanan jungle info, but we've been doing a lot of sort of hands-on research and seeing what's actually there. So we've got some exploration achievements for Tanan. One is Hellbane, which is defeat all Hellfire Citadel champions, which are the rare elites. We've got Drainer's Last Stand, which is you complete the Tanan daily objectives, and that's basically do the Apexis dailies in those 7 areas. We've got Jungle Stalker, which is kill 30 rares out of 50, which is an improvement from the Timeless Isle, because that version made you kill all the rares to get the achievement, so hooray, Timeless Isle feedback. And we've got the Legion Will Not Conquer All, which is to kill Kha'Zix, who is a new outdoor boss. So that's pretty cool. And more in depth on the rare spawns, they drop item level 650 loot, and some of them are your, sort of generic blues, but some of them have really cool flavor, like we've got Netherkuz's Robe of Contempt, and he is the, if you remember him, he's the first boss in Shattered Halls, and he's wearing the Horde, Warlock PvP robe from Classic WoW. Yeah. And instead of just being like a boring looking robe, it resembles his robe, which I think is a really cool detail to include. I really like stuff like that.
I like stuff like that too.
And we've also got this other one. It's the Rod of the One True Pod Lord.
This is amazing.
And it's dropped by Pod Lord Wakawem. And it's this podling themed stick, and we're getting a podling toy as well, so it's going to be awesome if you can look like the podling and have this
if you have your podling disguise on and then you have the podling scepter. That's going to be amazing. We were talking last time about like a full raid of Murlocs. I changed my mind. A full raid of podlings. And don't bother if you don't have the podling staff. Because that's pretty awesome. I'm super excited about a lot of the toys. We'll talk more about that soon. I had to interject and talk about the podling there for a second, but I'll let you get back to this. I'm sorry.
All right, so the final thing I saw, which I'm really excited about because in earlier builds they were all placeholder stuff, and I was getting these junk placeholder items, and now they're real things, is you can loot these item level 640 weapons, which are high mol LFR quality, just from objects lying around the zone. So we've got this really cool thing, the Forgotten Champion's Blade, which is the Horde-colored version of Admiral Taylor's Greatsword. We've got the Ogramal Snake Charming Flute, which is a stick attached to a rock, which is a high-definition version of that Deadmines mace. And we've got some other cool ones that are like recolors of old boss or PvP weapons. So that's pretty cool. It's like the Timeless Isle in that you could, in the Timeless Isle you would loot a chest and then it would turn into something appropriate for your spec. And this is, also helping you gear up if you have a bad weapon, but I feel like the unique models and finding the weapons in unique places give it a little more character than the Timeless Isle.
I think it's really clever how many things they've decided, like you said, to like reskin or give like brand new models to, like, I don't know. I've liked a lot of the little things that we've seen here and there.
Yep. And finally, I know a lot of people are always asking us about this. Yeah, so we know where oil is from now. Well, maybe not all the places, but oil is confirmed from Tanan.
Yep.
It's a reward from these new kill things in the region, Apexis dailies. So right now they give you 2,000 crystals and 600 oil. And some users have also reported it drops from some elites. So that Hellfire achievement I was talking about, where you kill the 4 rare elites, people have said that those bosses have been dropping 100 oil. So if you need to do stuff with the shipyard, go there.
You're going to have to. I think it's funny because I was like, I've always said how much I hate Apexis crystal dailies. I don't do them at all. Like, I did them for like a week, and then I was like, I am over this. I'm not doing this ever again. And now they're kind of forcing us to do them. They're like, no, you're going to do them, Danielle. We don't care what you think, Panzer. Like, you're doing your Apexis crystal dailies.
Maybe they'll be from other sources too. I mean, like, right now they seem to be just from rare elites, but maybe rares will drop smaller amounts of them, or...
Well, I'm hoping that maybe the new Apexis crystal dailies that drop oil in Tanan will be a little more interesting. Is that a good word to use? I just felt like I feel like the current Apexis crystal quests are really repetitive and kind of difficult, for lack of better words. Like, you really have to be in a group of 2 to like get them done in any... I could probably do them better now because I have better gear, but when I had first, when you first ding 100, they're hard quests to do by yourself, and they're long, and then you're just like, it's like,
yeah, some of the Wowhead comments before people knew like the tips and tricks, they're just like, this is less fun than doing my tax returns. Like, the comments on them are just hilarious. Then someone's like, oh, if you're in a group and you, like, loot the fruit and kill the elites versus these mobs that give you a fraction of the rep, it goes faster.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. Is they were definitely intended to be done in at least small groups because the elite... But, man, oh, man, if you didn't have the luxury of doing them in a small group, it was like...
Your gear was bad. It was
like banging your face against a wall for a while and then eventually succeeding. There was... Hopefully they won't be like that. Or at least we know now that we can do them in a group. But in my opinion, the most exciting thing about Tanan Jungle is all the new toys that's going to be bringing us. And check out this video that Perk took of this toy, the Dazzling Rod.
Yeah, this video is me and Sarah, Serene, you might know her, who writes guides on the site, hitting each other with this Dazzling Rod. And basically it lets you play a game with other people who have the Dazzling Rod equipped. When you have the buff, you have this bolt show up on your action bar, and then you basically fling arcane orbs at others. And this is the really cool part. If you hit the other person, you gain a stack of this thing called a Dazzling Rod score, and you grow in size. But if you get hit, you lose your score and get stunned, and the other person gets it. And you can grow really huge.
Yeah, like twice the size.
Yeah, so that's really funny, and your score can be endless. So I think up to like 25 is how much you grow, but it can keep stacking beyond that.
Oh, this is going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
this is going to be huge. Now, when you grow, does that, like, if you were to mount up, or can you mount up?
No, you shrink when you mount up. Good. I tried it.
Good. I'm not mad about that. That'll be a fun toy though, especially when you're like waiting for people to run back after wipes or stuff like that. Like, I think it's fun that they add like little kind of, it's not quite a mini game, but it is.
Yeah, another part I like about it is that you don't actually have to equip the weapon. So it's not, oh, I'm fighting between bosses, And it's like, oh no, I'm fighting with my Dazzling Rod in my main hand now.
Duel me, bro. Duel me with your Dazzling Rod. And then the next one you have down is called the Accursed Tome of the Sargeri. Now, did you use this one on the beta yet?
Yeah, it's it's not super crazy. It's just basically places a corrupted Naru mark on your forehead. So if you've got the touch of the Naru from the Garrison campaign as Alliance, it's basically a fell evil version of that.
Oh.
And it's in this really cool fell-infused Temple of Shannara area, so I like the detail. It fits the location. It's not, hey, get this toy from a random chest in the middle of the zone, like the Timeless Isle.
Yeah, and then we talked a little bit last week or the week before about the Perfect Blossom, which allows you to pick fell petals, and then you can apply them to your battle pet of choice, and it'll make them all, like, felly and shadowy kind of, or spectral, like spectral felly.
Yeah, it's like spectral with a greenish glow.
With a greenish glow. So that, I like that. That's going to be fun. And then I also, you provided us a video for this one that's called Jewel of the Hellfire.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's from Diablo, because at the end of Diablo 1, there's this soul stone and you stick it into your forehead because you're possessed. And as you can see from the video, you turn into a member of the Virgin Legion, and you also get the Soul Stone stuck in your forehead. And what I think is super cool is that it works when you're mounted up, your weapons remain visible, and both male and female disguises have multiple armor options. So in the video, I've got this pantsuit on, but there's also a black robe option, which I think is pretty neat. Yeah. And you compare this disguise with other ones, like I paired it with Layara's locket, and that disguise overrode it, but I still saw the gem sticking out of my forehead, so that was a nice touch.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm a big fan of like using as many toys as I possibly can all at once just to see what happens. Things get weird sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention that the accursed tome one, I tried it out with a wisp, and you see the symbol on the wisp.
I saw that. You see it on the wisp. Yeah. If you go to Wowhead's page for that, for the accursed tome, you can actually see her screenshot of it. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I like that attention to detail, how you can
pair. I think that's fun too. As someone, like, I play a shaman, so I go into Ghost Wolf all the time, so I always really like it when certain things actually do affect Ghost Wolf, because not everything does, but I like the ones that do. And earlier we talked about the Podling disguise, which is called Podling Camouflage, which Perk described as terrifyingly cute. And this is found in Strange Green Fruit, which when it ripens, you eat it, and then it like pops up out of the soil.
You loot this, like you basically loot it, and 14 days later it ripens.
Oh, so it's almost like an egg. Like you have to wait for the egg to hatch.
It's basically the egg, except you're guaranteed cool loot and not age yolk.
And then there's also the Ghostly Buccaneer's hat, which turns you into an undead pirate.
Yeah, that has a really cool backstory behind it, because it drops from Captain Ironbeard, and you might be thinking, hey, you know, Captain Ironbeard is this rare Innigrand who drops the Iron Buccaneer's hat. Yeah. But you learn about why he's now an undead pirate in Tanan, and why he's yelling at you and is angry and is no longer an orc in there.
All right, I always like when they add little stories like that, and kind of like you were talking last time about the ship with the torn paladin that you liked, and I don't know, stuff like that. Like almost like in this expansion, we can see like Mankirk's girlfriend instead of Mankirk's wife. That's so cute.
I know, her storyline is sad, but it's cute how he's there and then she's there and she's alive this time.
Yeah, no, you can actually save her. I like it. And then there's also a new campfire called the Fell Flame Campfire, and it's identical to the Grim Campfire, which is a piece of trading card game loot, but you don't have to pay for it.
And they recently made that a toy. Last build it wasn't, but this build it is, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
It goes in your toy box.
I didn't realize that wasn't a toy. What a rip.
Yeah, I think it just was an oversight last build, so I'm like, yay, finally it got added. This is good.
And that's all we got for this week for 6.2. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but that's all we're talking about. But we do want to talk a little bit about the Blizzard store, because it's down right now.
Yeah. It's been down for like a week, and it will be down until May 6th.
Yep, but it sounds like when it comes back, all the developers at BlizzCon this year, everybody, we're all wearing those Overwatch hoodies, and I was like tweeting them, like, where do I get one of these? I need one of these. I want one of these, please. And they should become available when they come back on May 6th, which is super exciting. I can't wait for Overwatch. I really just, I can't wait for Overwatch. I'm going to play the living butts out of that game. And then also we talked a little bit about maybe 3 weeks ago about a giveaway on Wowhead for a set of the World of Warcraft pint glasses, and the winners have been picked and will be contacted soon.
Yep, our marketing team is handling that, so thanks everyone that entered. We got tons of awesome entries, and thanks again, Blizzard, for letting us do that giveaway and giving us pairs of glasses.
Yeah, Blizzard.
I've been using mine. Yeah.
Blizzard totally sent me my glasses. They sent me the Hearthstone ones, though, which was really exciting. And hold on. I'll grab them to prove it. Hold on 1 second. I'm wearing real pants. Look at me.
But yeah, she's getting the glasses. I'll just talk a little bit more about the merchandise. Besides the track jacket, we'll also be getting an Overwatch black shirt, similar to the white one that's up on sale, and a Diablo Treasure Goblin Bank, which I think is also on sale on ThinkGeek. But yeah, some really cool merchandise. I hope there's some WoW merchandise coming as well, because
some new stuff.
They didn't preview any, but I think what they're showing is
So,
pretty creative,
yeah,
and I'd like for that to happen.
If they didn't have any World of Warcraft stuff, that'd be weird. But here are my glasses. I got 2 sets of these, and I think we had said they weren't dishwasher safe. That was a lie. Lies were told. I totally put mine in the dishwasher. And it was funny. I meant to bring them up as well, but then once they're out of the box, they're kind of hard to transport. But they totally survived the dishwasher, and they look good. And it's funny because as like functioning late 20s adults, sorry, my cats all just went insane at once. All of our glasses that we got for our wedding that were like super nice have been replaced with Hearthstone glasses. So these are actually super, super nice. And if you were worried about not getting them because of dishwasher things, they're totally dishwasher safe. They're not microwave safe, but why the heck would you put this in the microwave?
Yeah, that seems weird.
That would be a weird thing to do.
I guess you could make like a cake in a cup.
No, those are mug
microwave
cakes.
recipes.
It's funny because I was drinking out of this cup. I'm drinking tea, but these are not microwave safe either. The Stein like coffee cups, because they have like a metal piece in the handle. So like I've nuked my coffee in these a couple times. Big mistake. Big mistake. Don't do that. They're very, very hot. So, but I wanted to let you guys know I did get my pint glasses, and they're really, really nice. So I was excited. Thank you.
Should we ask chat if they have any 6.2 questions or stuff?
Sure, we'll totally. Chat, do you have any questions? Oh yeah, I see everybody's doing little emotes, and Perk and I have been speaking about it, and we're working on it. We're working on getting Wowhead emotes done. Do you want to tell them what we're doing? Do you want to tell them? I'm so excited.
Yeah, we can tell them. So I told Noxie that we should do a rocket emote, obviously.
Yeah.
But if people are really excited, we should have a Pepe emote, which is so cute.
Oh my gosh, it'll be so great. Here's the thing, because then somebody can post the Pepe emote, and then the next person can do like the Kappa emote, and it'll be like Pepe on Kappa.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It'll be so great. So we're gonna get those out as soon as possible, and then you guys can if you want to sub now, you can. But we will have emotes soon, and it'll be fun. It'll be Pepe and the rocket, and then the more subscribers that subscribe to the podcast, the more emotes we will be able to get in the future. And also, if you are a frequenter of Wowhead and you also hate advertisements, you can actually subscribe to Premium Wowhead, and then you'll have an ad-free Wowhead experience, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you get a few more other cool things, like if you're looking at an item tooltip, you'll see a screenshot next to it. You get access to a bag scanner, which tells you what's in your bags, what's in your void storage, how many reagents you have, all of that good stuff.
That's super nice.
You get a special color when you post, so you can feel special. So, yeah. Let's see, we're getting a few questions in. Hubert the Fifth is saying, how much testing of the bosses of Hellfire Citadel been done so far? How many left? And we've actually seen, I believe, 11 of the bosses tested on heroic difficulty, and they have one wing open for LFR over the weekend. So they're moving along pretty fast with that.
Right on, because there's 13 bosses in Hellfire Citadel, so they're 11 out of 13.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to test the last one if they want that to be a complete surprise, but, you know, we still have Mythic, we still have Normal to do, but 11 down for Heroic is still nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. They've been flying right through this entire patch. I mean, normally it's like, oh, rumors, speculation, rumors, and then maybe we'll get some confirmation, and then they'll release, like, here's a patch, but there's no raid in it yet, and there's no this and that. And it was crazy. It was like the PTR came out, and it was like all of the armor, all of the weapons.
Exactly.
The bosses.
Like, I don't know, what do I blog about? Like, Twitter, tell me what you really want to hear about.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Someone else asked, do you know how well Frost mages are doing in testing now, since they're doing low in high gear? I'm not a mage.
Yeah, I mean, I would... Like, stuff's still being changed with spell data. So many set bonuses got massive changes this week, so... You know, they're taking note with raid testing going on right now. This means that they're seeing the performance of everyone and can make adjustments accordingly. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I would either at Warcraft Devs on Twitter or hop onto the PTR forums and, you know, make a post.
Yeah, it's so hard with, like, individual classes, too, because they change things so much. When they're making class changes, it's not like the first change is probably even going to make it to live. Like, they're changing and tweaking, like, right up until it actually goes live, so it's kind of hard to tell. But as far as mages, I do know that they're removing Amp Magic, and they're also removing Aspect of the Fox. And my guild has a big running joke that it's not that they're removing Aspect of the Fox, it's that they're nerfing Tranquility. Because that's how it goes. It's like as soon as you pop Tranquility, you pop Aspect of the Fox, and then the Druid can move while channeling Tranquility. It's super overpowered, so that's pretty upsetting. But other than that, Hunters are still going to be amazingly overpowered. Don't worry. No sign of flying in 6.2.
Yeah. Peverly is saying, is Blues restoring the mats of crafted upgrades? It was unclear. I don't believe they're going to give you a refund on materials, but if you're crafting upgrades in the future, they will be cheaper. And if you've got, like, a stage 3 to 4 crafting item lying around, it won't become obsolete. It will still upgrade your gear. It just will, like, change the name or something. Like, you might have to click on it one more time for it to transform into the working item, but it's not... They're not going to turn into gray junk items that you can't use. That would be sad.
Yeah, we've kind of broken out a discussion about flying in the comments, and like I am personally, not that you guys care about my personal opinion, but I'm fine with there not being flying. Like once in a while I like want to fly, but then like it's only when I have a really far distance to go because it's so much faster to fly. But like I actually like using my ground mount when I'm like questing and doing stuff like that. It's weird. I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I think they've tried to make flight paths a lot better too, and they've added that button where you can get off at the next flight master instead of going, oops, I went too far, I have to now do this. We've also got someone asking about PvP gear, and we're not experts, but basically aren't they changing gear for PvP to scale to 690 and 6.2? So what's your ladies' thoughts on actually grinding out PvP gear?
Oh, you still are going to want PvP gear.
Yeah.
The idea of the 690 has more to do with nerfing people who are well geared. Like if you're like just dripping in 705 PvE gear, you're going to do so much damage that like you will be viable in PvP, which they do not want. They don't want you to not have any PvP gear. And I looked at it from a situation, well, what about these people who are fresh hundreds that are getting leveled up to 690? But the thing is that no PvP gear is being affected by that. So if you're really well geared in PvP gear, you are going to be substantially better than someone who is in...
The item levels for the PvP gear for the Wild and Warmonger and Gladiator are something like 705 and then 735 in PvP combat. So that's higher than 690 by a lot.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're going to have, I know it's not resilience, but they do have, there is a stat for PvP, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, the PvP power.
Yeah, PvP power, okay. So I definitely think, I think the reasoning for that was like Perk said. I think it had much more to do with nerfing really well-geared PvE players. Because that's not fair. That's not fair for people who have been doing arenas and like grinding out this high PvP gear to get like 3-shot by somebody who's a PvEer that doesn't even do BGs. Like that's not fun or fair, which I think was really more of the intention of that. And I think it also really helps people like me who don't want to go into a BG, although I'm probably close to, like, my gear right now is like 692 or 693, so it's like I'm bordering that, like my gear's kind of good, but like I also don't want to go into a BG because my gear is so crappy. But I would love to maybe learn how to PvP on my Hunter, but she just hit 100, or she's not quite 100 yet. She's close. So I think the idea that they're not making people go in like their crappy like 590 blues is really actually a nice feature. So I'm pro that, but I'm not a PvPer, and I'm sure they have things to say.
Kickin74 says, after you get all the toys and such from Tanan, what else would it bring to the jungle other than the raid and daily Apexis?
Pet battle, legendary pet battles.
Yeah, so right now Tanan, we've talked about how the PTR seems pretty, like, well-rounded just for being there 2 weeks, but there's still a lot of unfinished things going, happening in Tanan. Like, I did this event where I killed these evil-looking blood blobs, and I got an item that was, like, capital letters, like, not yet implemented. So there's gonna be some, like, group events going on there. You mentioned the legendary pets. You have to grind out the oil for your ship missions, which you need for the legendary quest line. I know that the Tanan blog was talking about these quest hubs you build, and that the Garrison campaign sends you back there. And the Garrison campaign in early Warlords had some unique rewards, like we talked about the toys you get. You would get an item with like 1 billion Garrison resources, cool stuff like that. So, I think they want to have you keep going back there, and they seem to be learning from some Timeless Isle mistakes, so I don't think they want it to be this, like, faceless thing you just grind out stuff for and grab your loot and go and don't want to return.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of people were interested in the Timeless Isle for quite a long time. I would love to see them add a world boss.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kazakh, he's not showing up in the journal yet, but I think he's viewed as the world boss. Like, he was, the world boss in in Hellfire Peninsula, and he's in that exact spot in an alternate timeline now, so I think he's meant to be viewed as a new world boss, or who knows, maybe he'll be like Ordos, where, like, you can only kill him if you have your legendary done.
Oh, that'd be neat. I would like that. I would like that. The legendary pets, Griever84 asked about the legendary pets, and he asked if they were capturable, and they are much more similar to the Mist of Pandaria ones, where you battle them, but then you can win pets from those battles.
Yeah, like, you can't win a mini-me of the legendary pets, but there is a Fell Touch Satchel, which gives you, I think there's 4 pets you can get from it so far, and I wish they made some of the legendary ones capturable, because they look so cool, because they all have these fell-touched appearances.
Yeah, I really like it too. But it's nice because they did give you the toy that allows you to make your pets look fell-touched. So, I mean, that has nothing to do with the legendary pets, but hey, it's a thing. And one of the legendary pets that you battle is a mount that you purchase it.
Yeah.
Do you purchase it for Pexus crystals? Is that the one?
No, it's the glory of the Hellfire Citadel.
The Hellfire Citadel Raider. Yeah.
So. See. Captain Easykill says, what's up with the legendary stuff? How legendary is it when everyone will get it? Does not feel legendary like the bow from Sunwell. And this is actually something we talked about last week with some data speculation, how we've seen that the legendary ring in the data starts at 735, and there's a spell saying that you can upgrade it up to 795.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the data, it wasn't like, 60 item levels.
Yeah,
it was
3 at a time, right?
Yeah. So we're thinking that, maybe if you put the time in, like, week after week, you can get an item that lets you keep upgrading it. And if you stick with it and you keep, doing something on a diligent daily basis, your ring will be better than someone that does not spend as much time, grinding out some currency or whatever is needed to keep upgrading it.
Yeah, and I know that he had mentioned, like, oh, it doesn't feel, like, legendary like the drop from Sunwell, but for me, I feel like you work really, really hard for your legendary items, like in Mist of Pandaria and in Warlords of Draenor, like, you're questing and you're doing stuff, like, you have to raid a lot to get all of those things, and then you are actually guaranteed that reward, whereas something like the bow in Sunwell, like, I've soloed Sunwell the other day to get something and the bow dropped, and I don't know, it's so much less special when, like, it's a random drop. I mean, I guess there's 2 sides of that coin. She could be like, oh, I'm so lucky and I got it, but, like, I feel like for something legendary, it shouldn't really be luck.
Yeah, I remember that, I was a rogue and we were clearing Black Temple, and obviously the Warglaives were this huge DPS boost. And on one hand, it's like, okay, we're killing this challenging end boss, and it feels legendary that would just kill the boss, but then on the other hand, it's this RNG drop, and now it's causing loot drama, and the person with the right spec, are they going to get these weapons? And, okay, the guilds that have rogues with 2 legendaries are now getting this boost against demons Sunwell, and that's totally RNG, and that's an awesome DPS boost, and we killed it more, and we're not, we killed this more, we only saw 1, and it caused some issues, and you don't want to feel at the mercy of RNG. Like, that part was not very legendary for me, and I finished my set when I was, like, solo farming it years later, so I'm glad they're kind of moving away from that. I think it caused a lot of loot drama, and
I think it's hard too when, like, you kind of feel left out. Like in Cataclysm, the legendary was the staff, right? The dragon staff.
the Firelands dragon staff, and the rogue one.
And then the rogue, the daggers, the fang, the fathers of the fang, or whatever. But I think it's really, like, it's just a weird situation, because then you have, like, one person, and then it's like every guild is gonna want a mage with that staff, and then
what happens if the person is sick, or it's it just, my class won't get one for, I guess, for the next year, Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a lot more incentive for someone like me. Like, I playing a shaman, like, there really hasn't been. I guess I could have gotten the legendary staff, but like I don't think anybody's like, oh, you know what an elemental shaman should have? A staff. Like, theoretically I could use it, but that's not like the ideal setup. So it's not like someone like me has ever really felt that incentive to raid to get a legendary, but especially since you can get the legendary. I mean, granted, it's at a slower pace, but I do like that they're giving more casual players who can't necessarily dedicate 3-4 nights a week to raiding in a hardcore guild. Like, I'm glad that people have the opportunity to have that experience of getting a legendary, and I don't know. I think it's a really nice. I like it personally. The thing is, with something like World of Warcraft, you're talking about 8, 9, 10 million, 11 million people playing at a time. There's nothing they can do to please everybody.
Right. Also, I mean, I think they've learned some things from Mr. Pandaria, which was sort of a test run of this new type of legendary.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any PvP steps in the Warlords of Draenor one, which
I think is good.
Yes, it's good. And
because that was really, I felt bad for the PvP players when, like, people had to do that leg of the quest.
Yeah, and I mean, they're good about adding catch-up mechanisms, or you can, get the stones from work orders or missions. So if you don't feel like raiding a certain week, but you do other activities, you can still get stones without making people sad in things like PvP. So I like that angle. I'm a little iffy that you need the shipyard. Like, I don't want the garrison to feel mandatory for the legendary questline, but we'll see how that goes, I guess. I guess it's inevitable that.
I mean, I don't know. The garrison was fairly mandatory leveling up. I mean, I guess you could have not done it, but that would have been. I feel like you'd have to go out of your way to not do it, so I don't really mind that it's mandatory.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about other stuff with the legendary thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that the PvP thing was the thing that sort of stands out the most. And, yeah, one thing I do want to see, I'm curious about, is if people will get any sort of cosmetic reward at the end. Like in Mr. Pandaria, they added that Legend of Pandaria title in, which I thought was cool, and I haven't seen anything similar. Plus, of course, you could kill Ordos, which felt like a nice perk.
Yeah.
If you're trying to gear up an alt, they could kill that special world boss. So hopefully there'll be something similar to that.
Yeah, that would be nice. I still really wish they would allow you to transmog legendaries. I really do. Like.
Yeah, or maybe you could, like, buy like a cosmetic cape that's just as a skin without stats, similar to the Darkmoon Fair weapons and cape. That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like, for someone like you who has the Warglaives, I think you should be able to transmog your weapons into Warglaives. You earned the Warglaives. You should be able to have them.
That would be fun.
So, yeah, I think that's it. If you guys have more questions that you would like us to answer in a future Wowhead Weekly, feel free to leave them on the VOD of this or on the post on Wowhead tomorrow. I usually spend a pretty significant amount of time in the comments when I upload it to YouTube, so feel free to leave a question and I will try to answer it for you to the best of my abilities. We have Wowhead Weekly every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here at twitch.tv/Wowhead. And, yeah. I think we're going to tie it up. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yep. See you next week.